Okay, so, yeah, this is the next part, I guess. I did quite a bit more writing than I was expecting to for the next bit. So, this is probably going to be a bit on the longer side. That said, I don't really know what else I have to say about this one. Yeah, it took a while, but I enjoyed writing it, and, it might just be the fact that I just finished it, like, a couple minutes ago. Well, I didn't just finish it a couple minutes ago. I just got done proofreading it, like, a couple minutes ago. But I'm pretty proud of this one, even if it's incredibly edgy. But, you know. Here we go, I guess. Oh, and, I'm gonna have to do a different, voice this time, so wonder how that's gonna go. But besides that, continue time. Hours later, I wake up to the sun shining down on me and reflecting in the nearby river. Guess we're up now, then? I yawn while standing back up and nodding in response. Good. It's about time we got moving again. If we keep moving, we should be able to get to Dryan by nightfall. Just about when everyone's going to sleep. He says with clear malicious intent. After a few minutes of waking up, I simply keep walking down the path Phobia tells me to. Not like I really had anything to pack up at our camp. Time passes slowly while I continue to simply move towards our destination. Steady progress is made. That said, I was rather distracted during the walk. For more than one reason, too. First off, am I really going to do this? Just kill a village full of innocent people? The siphon guards were one thing, but even if these people did abandon me, I was still a baby when I was kidnapped. I doubt any of them really got attached to me. Beyond that, what could they really have done? I don't even know for certain if they didn't try to save me. Just going off what Phobia told me. Plus, even if he is right, how would he know that? He claims to be a creature built off my negative emotions, but then how would he know about events outside of the tower? I might be able to buy him knowing the way to Dryan and just assume he remembers the path taken when I was kidnapped better than I do since I was so young, but everything else? It's odd, to say the least. Still, at the end of the day, he brought me back to life, and is giving me his power. Even if he's not being completely honest, I don't care all that much right now. Phobia doesn't seem to respond as I have this flood of random thoughts. Maybe he can only read the thoughts I purposely share with him? Or perhaps he's just ignoring them since he doesn't have an answer to them. Either way, it doesn't matter too much. By this point we've been walking for most of the day, and I chime in and ask how much longer we have. Not long at all. Not long at all now. We just need to keep going a little longer. In fact, see those lights in the distance? Phobia says in response. Are those from the village? I ask Phobia, not having seen actual street lamps before. Yeah, we'll be there soon, so just keep patient a little longer. Forgot punctuation on a lot of these, didn't I? Phobia says to answer my question. The closer I walk, the more nervous I feel as we keep going towards it. How many people live in Dryan? I ask, starting to feel a variety of mixed emotions well up inside of me. Maybe 70? Could be 80 or 90, though. Somewhere in that range, at least. That's not nearly as many as a big city, sure, but it's still a lot of people to kill without a second thought, and no doubt some of them are fine, maybe even great people. Am I really willing to kill this many people just to get revenge? Go this far and harm people who might not even know that they hurt me? And if I do, I won't be able to turn back. Having second thoughts? I hear Phobia's voice say. Oh, well, kinda, yeah, I reply honestly. That's fair. It would be odd if you didn't, considering how naive you are to the true nature of the world. Don't take that the wrong way, though. It's only natural you would be. That said, before you decide anything, I suggest you at least go see your parent, Phobia says, seemingly trying to persuade me. But what does he mean, parent? Shouldn't he be saying parents? By the time I finish that thought, we stand among the village of Giant. The home I should have had. I wish I could say I felt familiarity with the place, but I just don't. I don't recognize anything about it. The dim light of the street lamps illuminating the stone pathways and the thatch-roofed houses are a new sight to me. I see a few stores as well, a weaponsmith, a general store, and even a jeweler. At least, I think that's what it is. Not that any of this is surprising, considering how Giant's main source of income are the mines settled in the nearby cave. That's what I was told from Phobia, anyways. As I observe the village, Phobia guides me with his words towards what is apparently my home. It's not long before I arrive in front of a house that looks the same as all the others, the main difference being that it's near the mines on the outskirts of the village. I'm able to make out a shadow moving around in the still lit up house. I simply stand there for a few minutes, thinking maybe if Phobia will speak up to provide advice or something, but that doesn't happen. I'm left alone in silence for a few minutes before I'm finally able to grasp the courage to go forward. I go towards the house, standing in front of the door before reaching out to the knob, half hoping for the door to be locked. Of course, however, it isn't. As the door swings open, I see a gruff man turn to me with a confused and annoyed look. He looks to be in about his early 40s, with short brown hair and a gruff beard of the same color, along with being generally on the more muscled side. Besides his brown eyes, he looks nothing like me. He's standing in the kitchen of a fairly small house, only having a few basic rooms other than the bedroom. Despite clearly seeing him, however, I don't see anyone else in the house besides him. Certainly no one that could be my mother. The man speaks up after a few seconds of sizing me up. Who the hell are you? And what makes you think you can barge into my house? I guess that level of hospitality should be expected, considering I might as well be a stranger. Even so, it stings a little. That said, I won't appear weak to him. I'm not going to let him have the advantage here. At the end of the day, he's one of the reasons I was left to suffer alone. I'd hope he would be a bit more polite to your son, I say coldly. What the fuck are you talking about? Just get out already. I've had a long day and I don't need to deal with some weird kids rambling, he says, dismissing my claim. Can't say I'm surprised, especially given my current form. Suppose now is as good a time as any to try that form change. As I clear my mind and focus on changing back to my original form the same way I would any other spell, I feel my body shift a little. The most notable thing is the lessen weight on my left hand as the claw returns to a normal hand. I can only assume that the rest of my appearance also reverts as I look back to my father. Maybe this is better. Consider the other form for combat. This is how I normally look. I say as I notice his glare getting far more intense. I was expecting, if he believed I was his son, it would it would lessen his hostility, but that doesn't appear to be the case. If you need more proof, I was kidnapped by an organization called Siphon while I was still incredibly young due to my attunement with puppeteering magic. This ring any bells yet? I asked, starting to get a little annoyed. I wish it didn't, he says, seemingly more annoyed than when he thought I was just a stranger. So why the hell are you here anyways? He asks, glaring daggers at me. That's up to you. Right now it's undecided, but honestly, I'm not exactly happy about being abandoned by the people who should have been protecting me, I say, glaring back at him, still surprised by how tame his reaction to seeing me after 16 years is. No surprise or anything, only mild annoyance and frustration. Yeah? And what exactly did you think a group of miners was gonna do to go up against an organization? He says in an annoying tone. Are you saying in that case that you did know where I was being held? I ask as the frustration begins to mount within me. The tower's not terribly far. Eventually one of the people from the village wandered over that way and saw a somewhat heavily guarded tower. After they came back and told the rest of us, we got a warning a few days later from some strangely dressed guy calling himself Pharaoh. Basically said if any of us went over there again, they would level the entire village. Technically, I only got confirmation today that you were the one in that tower. But honestly, I couldn't care less. Replies as if what he was saying was obvious. Felt like my mind was getting crowded with all the things I wanted to say and all the thoughts forming in my head. How can you just say that to your own son? Aren't parents supposed to care about their children? I say, anger clearly in my voice. Maybe, but the sacrifice that was made for you to be born wasn't worth it in the least. He says, a tinge of regret in his voice. What are you talking about? I reply, still fuming. Figures you wouldn't know. My wife died when she gave birth to you. Apparently it had something to do with your magical abilities being strong, while she was just a normal human with no real magical skill. He says, as if reliving a memory he would rather forget. I can maybe understand why he would hold a grudge, but it's not like that was my fault. I had no control over what happened, and even then, hating your own child, that can't be normal, right? So, because of that you hate me or something now? I say, my mind racing. Pretty much. Now if you could be so kind, fuck off. He replies in a volatile tone. This piece of shit. He abandoned me and left me to suffer alone for my entire life, and now he's pushing me away again? No, I can't blame him too much for not liking me, right? I caused the love of his life to die. I can't decide how to feel. My mind just won't stop. Why the hell are you still here? Get out already. You wanna hate me? Go right ahead. Just get out of my sight already. He says in an almost defeated tone. Just shut up already. Let me think and sort through my thoughts, please. I don't know what to think. I don't know how to feel. So preoccupied with my own mind, I barely hear him sigh as he walks towards me. My own voice is echoing through my mind, saying so many different things. Forgive him, it's not really his fault, right? Just kill this bastard already and be done with it. You'd probably feel the same in his situation, wouldn't you? Like hell you would. Scum like him deserves to die. My mind is left constantly arguing with itself. I don't know what to do. Phobia, please, just help me. I can't decide. All of the chaos in my mind is swiftly interrupted, though. I feel the air tear as the man who should have been there for me swings a kitchen knife towards my neck. I barely even knew what I was doing as I swapped forms and hold my claw up, blocking the strike and having the knife bounce off of it onto the floor. Did he just tried to kill me, didn't he? That thought rings through my mind as all the others are completely silenced. My own father just tried to kill me. I hear him grunt as he stumbles backwards. You really just tried to kill me, didn't you? He stays silent, simply glaring at me. Maybe I deserve that. I killed your wife after all. Maybe you have every reason to hate me. But honestly, none of that matters to me right now. All that matters is that there are people like you in this world. People who are willing to kill others for revenge, even if it's not really that person's fault. In other words, people as selfish as you already exist. I can't think of a reason to stop myself anymore. Sure, there are plenty of innocent people, but so what? Maybe killing them will only serve to protect them from this despicable world. I say, as my mind is no longer racing, but still somehow crowded, just instead of with several thoughts. Only one, and that one thought rings loud and clear. Kill him. The hell are you saying? I hear the man say. Don't worry about it, I say as I pick up the knife. Its gray metal blade is fairly long for a knife, and the handle feels right in my hand. The blade's color begins to shift as I pick it up into a bright crimson, while it begins to drip a black, almost ink-like substance. Just know that you're the one that pushed me over this edge, I say, turning back towards him. A nervous look of anger spreads over his face as my own begins to distort into a small smile. I walk over to him holding the knife in my right hand. He sighs, looking towards the ground as if resigning himself to his fate. No point in asking what you're going to do. Whatever. Part of me has been craving this since the day you were born, he says in one last spiteful comment, as I forcefully stab the knife into his gut, before pulling it back out and forcing it back in, twisting the knife this time as I drag it up through his body, blood beginning to spurt from his mouth as a look of shock is spread over his face and remains there. His body falls to the ground as I follow it down, continuing to stab and slice at his body, continuing this process for a minute, then 5 minutes, then 15, then 30. It could have easily been longer, though. Time seems to just merge together as I mutilate his body. As time passes, I finally regain some of my composure and stand back up, looking down at a corpse that barely looks human. Finally, Phobia speaks up. So, have you made a decision? He says, after being quiet through that whole experience. Yeah, I have. I say, after a few quiet seconds. Alright, so that is, that's what I added, to the story after, last session, I guess. And, like I said, it might just be because I finished it only a little bit ago, but I was pretty proud of this one. But I don't know. I guess that's it for now. So, see ya.